What is up, guys? Today is all about plot screen. I'll show you step by step how I plant one. We'll go from start to finish. Let's go. All right, guys, so first things first. So what we wanted to do is come in here. So I came in here and actually mowed this whole food plot. And then what I'm gonna do is about 2/3 of the perimeter of this food plot. So I've got a big pie-shaped food plot here. And I came out about 16 feet. That's about how wide you wanna come out for a plot screen. That gives it the durability in the wind to stand. They kind of bump against each other. That way you don't have a bunch of, if you keep it narrower than that, it can fall. So we're going to get it planted. The first thing I did is I brought the zero turn in here and I actually mowed this really close to the ground, which makes it easier to till up. So got that mowed, got a strip mowed all the way around that 2/3. And now, once I got that mowed and ready to go, I'm going to bring the tiller in here and I'm going to get it tilled. So jumping on the tiller right now. All right, so I got it all tilled up, as you can see behind me here. Not quite 16 feet wide. They recommend 16 feet for the wind resistance so it can stand up. Not too concerned about that here in Arkansas. Not that we can't get some crazy strong winds sometimes, but I'm actually probably 12 to 14 feet, somewhere in there, not quite 16. So, but that's what I felt worked best in my plot. So. On to the next step, I'm actually going to add a little bit of pelletized lime just because I have not had a soil test here. This is, if you guys watched it, this is the new plot that I made last fall. Overall, the plot did well. Right away, I could tell I needed more cover and better access. So that's the two things I'm trying to fix with this plot screen. Get that plot screen up and tall, I'll be able to access the stand that I built, which you guys have seen that video, and also give those bucks security to come out in the daylight. That's what it's all about. All of this plot screen work is so that if I've got a buck that wants to come to this food source, he's not going to have to wait till dark to feel secure. So 2/3 of this, you'll notice, is what I wrapped. And like I said, 12 to 14 feet wide is what I went. And it goes all the way down this long fence side, goes across the bottom and then around in front of the stand, so that help solve that access problem. So on to the next step, pelletized lime, and then it calls for triple 19. My co-op only had triple 13, so that's what I'm putting out today. So pelletized lime and triple 13 going in next. All right, guys, well, the way I got it figured, it's probably between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an acre is all this is. So I went with like 60 pounds of the pelletized lime and about 80 pounds of the triple 13. Not going to take a whole lot, as small of an area as that is. So I'm going to go over this with the tractor, lightly to get it into the ground, just light till, just barely touching the ground. And then we will be ready to get the plot seed out and get that planted. So if you'll notice, this is where the plot screen sweeps around this bottom corner, and it just comes right up here and dead ends. It doesn't go very far further up, but I've got a pretty substantial wood line right here that's going to shade it out anyway. It's not going to do well, plus there's already established cover here. And the idea is that I get this plot screen in here so that I have access to that stand. I want to be able to get in and out of that and have deer out here in the food plot. So that is the plan. All right, guys, it's time to put out the plot screen seed. I use a seed from a company called Frigid Forage. I've been using it for 6 years. Actually, last year I tried a new product. Didn't have a whole lot of success with it. Don't necessarily blame the product as much as we had 8 inches of rain right after I planted it, and then we went into a drought later that summer. So really didn't do well for us. But going back to what I know, and that's this Frigid Forage product. It's a mixture of Egyptian wheat and sorghum, but I've had good success with it in the past. So I'm breaking out Old Faithful, which is my little hand seeder, and I like to set the seeder on 2, if you can see that, and just a good steady walk. Maybe a little bit hurried of a walk is what I like to do. And what you want to make sure of is as you're going and you can see the seed come out, that it's actually covering the whole area. So that's the main goal, is that in that one pass you're able to seed this at a rate that it goes from one side to the other and you're not overseeding. It's super important with these plot screens that you don't overseed it. If you overseed it, it'll all come up together and it will stun its growth because all the plants are fighting against each other. You got it too thick. So a pretty light seed rate. Like again, this is just the one I've always used. You can see it's all busted up. I've had it for years and years. But I like to put it on the number 2 setting with a good steady walk. So let's get that done. Hey guys, what comes in this bag is you get enough to do a half an acre. And that says that's 150 feet by 150 feet. Or 16 feet wide by a half a mile. So obviously I'm not going to use this whole bag. I'm actually using about 1/3 of it is all I'm going to need for this little project here. I do have a couple other spots that I'm going to do plot screen in, but just FYI, you will not use a whole bag unless you happen to have a half acre of what you need to plant. So let's get it put in. So guys, this is how much seed I have left after the first pass. So I've made the whole distance and I still have probably half of the seed left. So I'm actually going to make it again, maybe a little faster pace. On the 2 setting on this, it puts it out really slow, which is the safest way to do it. And the best way, and the reason I like to do that, is when you're done with your pass, you can see how much seed you have left and then you can continue. If you set that thing too heavy, it will put your seed out and you'll make it 1/3 of the way around and you'll be out of seed. So that's kind of the reason I set it so low, is that you can kind of feather it all in here to make sure you get full coverage on this without overseeding. So I'm going to put the rest of it out now. All right guys, so that's what's actually left. I feel pretty good about the rate. If we'll go take a look, the seeds are not really close together, and that's kind of what you want. These things grow into be big old plants, just big old tall plants, and if they're on top of each other, they just don't do well. So just, you can take a look now and go out there and take a look, see how far your seeds are apart. If they're spaced out pretty good, you did it right. So, all right, guys, so the next step, what we want to do is get a light drag. Seed needs to be about an inch, actually about a ½ inch in the ground, covered in dirt. And so I'm going to pick up a little small drag that I've got and get it drugged. All right, guys, we're at the final step, cold packing. Very important that you want to cold pack, or at least use your tractor tires, four-wheeler tires, whatever, drive over it so that you know you get that good seed to soil contact. Really seems to help these pot screens and even a lot of your fall plantings help with a good cold pack. So I'm gonna get that finished up right now. All right, guys, got it all packed in. That is a wrap. We got this project finished up. Got that plot screen in. Guys, if you've never tried it, give it a shot. It is super cool when it works. Weather plays a role. You know, I did get flooded out last year, and we had a drought going into the fall, so my plot screen did not do well last year, but all the years prior, it did great. And for me, it was a game changer in daylight activity. I'm not an expert, don't claim to be one, that's just what works for me. Guys, if you want to see a video of my first year with the plot screen, check out this video. If you want to see last year's plot screen video, check out this video. Guys, if you're into the podcasting stuff, we have a podcast called The Hunt Experience with me and Chris. Check this out. As always, guys, thank y'all for watching, and as always, God bless.